are now listening to The Sports Report with your host, Josh Dow.
What's up, guys? This is Josh, and you are listening to The Sports Report. I hope everyone is having a fantastic week. I know Eagles fans, without a doubt, are having the best week, unless business, car, who knows what got vandalized after that Super Bowl. So let's jump right into the Super Bowl. We're going to start our headline section covering the biggest event of the past week, the Super Bowl.
This is the Sports Report News and Headlines.
You guys have had a few days to digest what happened. You've probably heard, seen different takes of the game, different analysis from the Eagles' point of view, from the Patriots' point of view. I'm not even going to get into that aspect of it because it's been covered. We know what happened. We know the Eagles won the game. If you don't know the Eagles won the game, I don't know why you're listening to this sports podcast, because if you're listening to this, you're probably a pretty big sports fan. So, anyway, the biggest thing that I took from it was, the Patriots defense was almost non-existent. I mean, they were beyond bad. And that leads me to my point of Malcolm Butler didn't play a defensive snap, played one special team snap, I believe it was. I think he played one special team snap. I've heard different things. I don't know what to believe. I've heard it's been because of an illness. I've heard it's because he missed curfew, coupled with some bad practices. Really, I don't know the story. The Patriots are amazing at covering everything up. They're amazing at not disclosing all of the information. So whatever the case is, you kind of have that divided locker room now. People are supporting Butler instead of the coaching staff because of the decisions made. Do I agree? I don't know the circumstances, but do I agree with benching your premier corner who's played over 95% of defensive plays this year? No, I don't. And I don't agree with Belichick said, we put the guys out there that are going to give us the best opportunity to win. That's kind of a cop-out. I don't agree with that at all. Because, in my opinion, Malcolm Butler would have gave you one of the best opportunities to win. Do I think if you put Malcolm Butler in the game, you hold the Eagles to 17 points? No. No, that offense was clicking. Do I think if you start Malcolm Butler, you win the game? More likely than not. I just think, and there were some close plays, the catch plays where, was it a catch, was it not a catch? They were close. Is it possible that Malcolm Butler in the game helps that defense stop Nick Foles on third downs? Likely. Very likely. Now, you can't stop him every time, but Eric Rowe was getting toasted. Dude was getting cooked. at no point did it cross the mind of Belichick or anyone on that coaching staff, or even Brady or Gilmore or any of the defensive leaders or team leaders to be like, hey, coach, I understand he missed practice or didn't even miss practice. Maybe he practiced bad. But I have more faith in him stepping up in a big spot than continuing to watch Rowe get cooked or some of these other guys get burnt on by the running backs or giving up. I don't know how many third downs they gave up. So I think it's going to be an interesting development if we hear the story, the truth, because I'm not sure if we got that. Now the Patriots, we're obviously that whole situation's over, and now we're talking about what's the future of the Patriots. After the Super Bowl, it was almost a given that Josh McDaniels was going to be gone. Patricia was going to be gone. Nobody knew what was going to happen with Belichick. Gronk won't commit to next year. Brady says he's going to return, but he's going to be 41. I mean, the Patriots' future is so much in question. Nobody really knows what's going to happen. Here's the interesting thing, though. As soon as I thought it's going to be trouble for the Patriots. Now, I don't mean trouble as we're going to be the Cleveland Browns. I mean trouble as it's going to take a while for an offensive coordinator and this offense and a defensive coordinator and the defense to mesh. Takes a while in any spot. So we have to do it on both sides of the ball in the same season with a 41-year-old quarterback and a not so good defense. I mean, they're a good defense, but they started off the season really bad. They finished the season in the Super Bowl really bad. So nobody really knows what they're going to get. Well, here's the thing. McDaniels, he's coming back. He backed out of the Colts job. I think it was like he was like the head coach for like 9 hours or something like that. They were supposed to officially announce him tomorrow, which is Thursday. I'm recording this on Wednesday. They're supposed to announce him tomorrow, and he backed out. And it said that he had a meeting with Kraft or he had a meeting with Belichick or both and changed his mind. So here is what I'm getting at with that whole situation. Belichick, probably 2, 3, 4 more years at the most as the head coach. Kraft and Belichick sat down and said, hey, if we offer McDaniels that kind of the next guy up type deal, give him a little bit more money while he's the offensive coordinator, he'll stay in New England. I don't think it was necessarily an agreement. It's not in the contract, but I think it was kind of that gentleman's handshake type deal. Like, hey, you come back. Belichick's going to be here a couple more years. He'll show you the ropes, how we manage the salary cap, how we scout players, all that stuff that you don't necessarily know to the fullest extent. When Belichick steps down, you're the guy filling in. I think that had to have been the conversation. Had to have been. The agent told his agent, McDaniel's agent, told him he was making the biggest mistake of his life backing out of this Colts position. I'm not so sure. I am not so sure if he is. Because I understand the agent has to do what he believes is best for his client. But McDaniels is the only one that truly knows what's best for him. He's had a couple stints in New England, had a lot of success as a head coach elsewhere. He didn't have that much success. He comes back as an offensive coordinator, learns under Belichick, takes over after the Belichick, maybe even the Brady-Belichick era is completely gone. He might be able to do something in New England. So I don't think it was a bad mistake. I don't think it was a big mistake. I think that was the best thing he could have done is come back. I don't think he's ready to be a head coach yet. He's a great offensive coordinator. He's got a lot to learn. Patricia is gone. He is the Lions head coach. He is not coming back. I don't know how I feel. I really like Matt Patricia. I think he's going to be all right as a head coach. He's not going to be one of those guys who leads the Lions to a 13-3 season or anything like that. He's not. He's a great defensive coordinator. I don't know how he's going to be head coach-wise. He's intense. I just don't know. A lot of reports from different sources are saying Schiano is going to be the new defensive coordinator, which is the defensive coordinator now for Ohio State. I really like that move. If any of you watch college football, Ohio State's defense, now, of course, obviously recruiting plays a huge factor, but the schemes that they've had since Schiano's been there is top-notch, NFL caliber. And I really think he's going to, if he is able to come and be the defensive coordinator for the Patriots, really be the guy that steps in, rejuvenates that team, and the Patriots could be a top 10 defense. They need to make some moves. They're not just going to keep the same roster and be top 10, I don't think. But Schiano's a guy to do it. Belichick, like I said, is expected to return for 2018. Brady expected to stay around for 2018. Gronk, he really doesn't know. He said he's not sure yet. But here's what I'm getting at with Gronk. If the offensive coordinator is staying, which he is, Brady and Belichick will be back, which they say they will be. I don't see why he wouldn't stick around. I could see if McDaniels left, Belichick and Brady decided maybe it's our time as well. We'll head out. Or at least Belichick maybe heads out. Then it's just Brady. Maybe Gronk, evaluates where he is. But you have the cast on your side of the ball coming back. I think he sticks around. Now, he's dealt with a lot of injuries, especially the concussion of late. He's been beat up. Can he afford to keep taking these kind of beatings? I mean, he's got like a bionic arm. I don't know. And I know what I watched, I can't even remember what show I was watching, but they were talking about if he does walk away, it's not like he's going to go without money. I mean, he's made plenty of money, but Gronk has one of those personalities. He'll be like Peyton Manning and make a lot of money in commercials. He's not I could be wrong. He doesn't strike me as a brilliant person that's going to be like a coach or a coordinator or anything like that. He's just a freak of nature. So I think commercial-wise, that would be more his route to make money. And he can still make millions doing that. Is he going to make the same amount he's supposed to make next year? Probably not. Highly unlikely anyway. But if he's just fed up and just can't do it anymore, I can't blame him. We've seen guys in their prime walk away before. I mean, I wouldn't blame him if he did it to protect himself, especially after the concussion that he received. But I really do hope he comes back at least another year. So, on the flip side of the Super Bowl was the Eagles. Everyone's talking about that new dilemma they have of, hey, when Carson Wentz is 100%, what are they going to do? I don't even know why this is a valid question. Carson Wentz is your future. Carson Wentz is your quarterback. He's your future. He's your franchise guy. I understand Nick Foles had a great 5 games, maybe not even 5 games. But you can't even tell me that you would honestly pick Foles over Wentz. To me, it just doesn't make sense. Here's personally what I would do. Wentz would be my quarterback. Foles said he's content with where he is, so you can keep him in your back pocket in case, God forbid, something happens to Wentz again. You have a guy who is an above average backup quarterback. In my opinion, for a full season, he's a fringe starter. He's not even a full-time starting quarterback. He had one good year in 2013 or whatever it was. Basically got to the point where his career was over. He had to go camping to figure out what he was going to do, if he was going to retire or not. I mean, don't let this performance fool you. He's not a franchise guy. That being said, you have Foles in your back pocket. I would listen to offers. Why wouldn't you? His value is not going to get any greater than it is right now. The last glimpse of what teams saw was him as a Super Bowl MVP. Stock doesn't get higher than that. Now, I was watching First Things First on FS1, and Nick Wright went and said, I would listen to offers for Carson Wentz. And that, my friend, is what you call a bold statement. You thought Philly was bad after the Super Bowl? Philly would be wiped off the map if the Eagles got rid of Carson Wentz. They love that guy. And rightfully so. He's a good quarterback. So they have their own dilemmas. I don't think it's as much of a dilemma as the media is trying to make it be. But the Eagles are a really good team. The Eagles are Super Bowl contenders again next year with Carson Wentz healthy. Next year's Super Bowl odds are already out, of course, the minute that the trophy celebration was going on, ceremony. It came out, the Patriots are favored for next year's Super Bowl. Already. With all the unanswered questions around the team, they're the favorite. The Eagles are second, Packers are third, Steelers and Vikings are fourth and fifth. These are obviously super early. There's so much that can happen in the offseason, the draft. I mean, injuries in the offseason, injuries in camp, injuries. I mean, it's almost impossible to say what's going to happen. I mean, I don't know exactly the odds, But I'll tell you, the Eagles were not second behind the Patriots when this came out last year for this year's Super Bowl. So you can see every team's odds for next year's Super Bowl. I wouldn't touch them, though. Would not touch them. We're getting close to that NBA trade deadline. As a matter of fact, I believe it's tomorrow, I believe. I don't know exactly what time it ends, but I believe it ends tomorrow. I could be wrong. My days are all running together. But here's the two teams that I'm hearing making a lot of noise, and it's the two teams that have met in the finals for the last 3 years, Cleveland and Golden State. Two different reasons, though. Warriors are looking to add depth because they're already the best team in basketball. The Cavs are just looking for answers. I mean, so here's what's going on. The Cavs, from what I understand, LeBron is not very happy. Apparently, he's cussed out 2 executives. There's reports now that he didn't want Kyrie gone. He's unhappy with the team's success. They lost on national television. He said they shouldn't put them on national television anymore because they're just not good. That's what I took out of it, is that he was saying, like, listen, guys, don't put us on national television. We're just not good. So the Cavs need answers. I mean, there's still everyone saying Cavs Warriors, but you really have to think about where the Cavs are right now. They'll make the playoffs, no doubt. They'll make the playoffs. They won't be the 1 seed. They won't be the 2 seed. Might not be the 3 seed. But this might be crazy. This might be insane. But the Cavs might want to listen to offers for LeBron. I know that sounds insane. And I know any person that I went to school with that's a Cleveland fan, there's a bunch of you. If you're listening to this, you probably think I'm nuts. But why not see what you can get by trading him than letting him just walk away when he opts out at the end of the year? Because then you get nothing. Wouldn't you rather get something for him? I mean, I would say there's a high probability that he's not going to be with the Cavs next year. Unless they win the championship, I think he's going to walk away. So why not put LeBron on the block? Put him on the trade block. See what you can get. I would literally contact every NBA team. And my message would be, deadline's in 24 hours. LeBron's on the table. Come up with your best offer and get back to me as soon as you can. And I would hang up the phone. I wouldn't even let him talk. That's what I would say. Now, I know that's a super, super, super unlikely event. Would the Cavs do it? If they get the right offer, I think they would. Would other teams do it? They certainly would to get LeBron. I just don't think he's going to waive that no trade clause. And he did say, when asked about it, that he's here for the long haul. Quote unquote, I'm here for the long haul, meaning Cleveland. But my long haul and your long haul and LeBron's long haul could be very different. Everyone has a different perception of time. When I say I'm here for the long haul, could be my career. You could say you're here for the long haul, here to the end of the contract. LeBron could mean till I can opt out the rest of the year. Everyone's got a different perception of time. So you got to take that with a grain of salt. Cavs fans, when you hear I'm here for the long haul, the end of the season when he opts out and goes to LA or goes to Houston or wherever he ends up, I don't want to hear you say, well, he said he was here for the long haul, because it doesn't mean anything. I think the Cavs would be extremely stupid if they didn't at least listen to offers. Just hear what teams have to say. You're not obligated to send LeBron anywhere. Even if you hear offers, he still has to waive the no trade, so it's not like it's a done deal. It's worth a shot. Baseball's coming quickly. Coming with the quickness. Spring training starts the 23rd. The season officially starts March 29th, which is, I believe, the earliest start ever. It's earliest it's ever started. Todd Frazier signed with the Mets. He got 2 years. I think he got $17 million or right around that amount. So I think that's a good move by the Mets, honestly. The biggest thing that especially as a Red Sox fan, and it's super frustrating, and not frustrating on the Red Sox part, it's frustrating on the agent player side. JD Martinez is fed up with the inflexibility of the Red Sox. I don't know. Listen, you're only as valuable as what the market says. You could come up with a number of, for instance, in this case, $200 million. If no one pays $200 million, you're not worth $200 million. The Red Sox offered $125 million, so there's obviously a long ways to go between the two numbers. The Red Sox basically believe we're going to stick firm to our offer. We just don't think there's enough competition out there that's going to get you to that $200 million deal. Here's the problem now. JD Martinez is like done. He's done. If someone comes in at $125 million as well, he's likely to sign with another team other than the Sox, just because he's been working on this deal with the Red Sox for a long time. His agent is Scott Boras, I believe, who, if you know anything about baseball and contracts, Scott Boras is known for trying to get his players like insane contracts, and he's been successful. But it's simple. It's a simple concept. If they're not going to pay you $200 million, you're not worth that. The market dictates what you're worth. So if you haven't gotten a better offer than $125 million 2 weeks before spring training, you're probably not worth $200 million. So I'm not fed up with the Red Sox. I'm fed up with Scott Boras putting this in his player's head that, well, I say you're worth $200 million, you're worth $200 million. It doesn't work that way. And there's, I'm sure, agents that get that concept. Seems like Scott Boras just doesn't. Still waiting on Yu Darvish. He's another guy. He hasn't signed yet. I think he has one offer, a 5-year deal. The rest are 4 and 3 years, I believe, are what he's getting. He wants 6. Another example. You don't dictate that. You can ask for it all you want, but at the end of the day, do you want to be employed? Do you want to play baseball? Because if you do, take the 5-year deal. And I don't mean, listen, that doesn't mean JD Martinez or you Darvish, you want 6 years or $200 million that you take the first offer. No, it doesn't mean that at all. There's obviously room for negotiation. But when we get this close to the season and there's no movement, I mean, these offers are just firm. You have to understand that, okay, we've reached the ceiling. We did our best. We reached the ceiling. Let's take the deal and move on. So, Scott Boras has come out and had a lot of problems with the ownerships and the teams and general managers and stuff like that, front offices, because of the lack of movement with free agents. They can, the owners are not the problem. I mean, yes, some of them, if, I don't know, say 5 or 6 teams just weren't paying players, free agents, and just letting people go and cutting salaries and everything like that, yes, that makes sense. But if 30 teams say, dude, you're not worth $200 million, we're not even going to offer that, it's not the owners. It's not the front office. JD Martinez and Scott Boras and Yu Darvish and these free agents, they need to be flexible, or they're not going to be playing. Let's move on to our against the spread section.
It's in! You covered, yes, it's done!
Are you sure what's the final score?
Miami by 4! You covered! You covered 12!
I covered!
Yes!
What is against the spread? The spread?
So here we go. Football season's done. We ended the year, the Super Bowl. We went 2-0. We hit the over. We hit whatever number you got. We said the Eagles plus 4.5. I saw it at 5 at one point. I saw it at 4. We got it at 4.5 right in the middle. Obviously, we hit that. So we went 2-0. This week, in Against the Spread, we're going to talk Olympic prop bets, and then we're going to talk some fantasy baseball talk. I know some of you like to wager some money on your fantasy baseball leagues. A lot of people do daily fantasy, so we're going to talk about that a little bit. The Olympic prop bets. I'm not a big Winter Olympics guy. I'm not going to tell you what to bet, but there's a lot of them out there. You can bet on essentially every competition. You can bet on medal counts, everything like that. So here are the 4 that are the most interesting to me. The most gold medals in Norway is plus 150, Germany's plus 160, the USA's plus 500. Total medal count, Germany and Norway are plus 175, the USA's plus 400. USA gold medal count over under 10.5. That's one that I might play, and that would be, I would go under 10.5. Other than a couple snowboarding events, Lindsey Vonn in the downhill skiing, women's hockey, maybe 6 or 7 gold medals. I don't think that 11's gonna happen. So like I said, I'm not a huge winter sports guy. That might just be for me to have a little fun watching the Olympics. Obviously I want the USA to win, so that's why I would play that. It'd be a very small wager if I did it, nothing crazy, but I would choose to go under, even though, like I said, I want the USA to win. I just don't think it's gonna happen. Canada gold medal count over under 8.5. I have no take on that. Honestly, I really don't. I don't know what they're good at other than hockey, really. But I think Russia's the favorite to win hockey. So I don't really know. But those are the 4 that were the most interesting to me. Like I said, you can pretty much bet on every event. So that'll be interesting to see. The Olympics start soon. I believe some of the events already started, like the preliminary stuff, but the actual ceremony's not for a couple days. So we're going to talk some fantasy baseball. So if you're like me, daily fantasy is a huge thing. I did it every week for football. I dabble in some basketball. Fantasy baseball is where I love to play daily fantasy. The reason I play daily fantasy more than season-long fantasy is, man, fantasy baseball is just so long. So long. So what I'm going to do each week, I'm going to go through a different position so you guys have an idea of your daily fantasy, your season-long fantasy, and we're going to start with catchers. So what I'm going to do is, last year, the 2 best catchers were Sanchez and Buster Posey. Sanchez came into the league 2 years ago, played 53 games, and was just, I mean, the dude was unbelievable. I mean, he was just hitting. It was like raw power every time he stepped to the plate. His batted ball speed, everything was through the roof. Last season, he played 122 games, and the big numbers continued. So this year, out of my top 5, Gary Sanchez is my guy. He's number 1. Batted .280 last year, 33 home runs, 90 RBIs. Like I said, he played 122 games. He missed some time because of injury. I mean, it could happen again. He could get injured again, especially in that catcher spot. If he plays 130 to 140 games, he's a 30-plus home run guy again. You might see the average dip to 270. I think he's probably an 80, 90 RBI guy again. So, I mean, he's going to put up the power numbers for you. That's a guy that I want in my lineup. Number 2 is Buster Posey. Buster's just consistent, man. Played 140 games last year. 317. He doesn't hit the ball like Sanchez does power-wise. He had 12 home runs, 65 RBIs, but his OBP was 398 in 140 games, like I said. So, he's not going to put up the power numbers. He's not going to get the RBIs. But he's still consistent around or above 300. Probably 15 to 18 home runs. I don't think he's a 20 home run guy. He could, but I don't think he is. But, man, I don't want to jinx him, but he stays healthy. He's going to play 140 games. He's shown that he's going to do that. You know, he had that 1 year where it was a bad injury. But other than that, he's not, little lingering hamstrings here, hangnail or whatever players are dealing with now. See that all the time, blister there. So, he's consistent unless it's a serious injury. So that's a guy that you definitely want. He's gonna be on base, which is huge for getting in run or driving in runs possibly, but also scoring runs for you. My third guy is Wilson Contreras. He, in my opinion, last year he would have been a top 5, maybe even top 3 guy. So that's why I have him at 3. But he had that hamstring injury. He finished 276 average. He had 21 bombs, 74 RBIs. He played 117 games. So, I mean, missed a good amount of time. Projection-wise, if he stays healthy, again, that 130 to 140 range, he's going to obviously take games off for rest. But if he plays that many games, I think we might see the average bump up a little bit to closer to 280. I don't think he's going to drop. If he does, it'll be like 268 to 270. But I think he's going to be a better hitter. And he's played in 117 games, 21 home runs. You could easily say he could be a 30 home run guy. I don't think he's going to be. I think he's going to be around that 25 home runs, and he's going to focus on being more of a consistent hitter. So, he'll bat 280, bump that average up. Won't hit a ton more home runs, but he'll hit. He's a 25 home run guy, honestly. JT, I'm going to butcher this, Realmuto from the Marlins. He's a 278 guy, 17 home runs, 65 RBIs last year. He's going to be right around those numbers again. He's going to be between 270, 280, 15 to 20 home runs. My biggest concern with him is his strikeouts and his walks. Struck out 106 times, and it's about 20% of the time. And he only walks 7% of the time. So if he's hot, he's going to swing the bat. So if you can handle that, that's someone you might want to pick up. Maybe he works on that a little bit, I would imagine. But he's a free swinger. Another problem is that lineup is decimated. He could see a lack in production, or Stanton's gone, Yelich is gone. He could rise to the pressure and be that guy. I don't think he's going to be a 40 home run guy or anything crazy, but you could see that 65 RBI move up to 75, 80. So that's why I kept him. I'm more optimistic that he'll produce than he will struggle. And that's what I'm hoping for. My number 5 guy is Salvador Perez. And beginning of last year, if you would have told me that he would be my number 5 guy for fantasy, probably would have laughed. Not that I think he's a bad player, but I don't think he's a top 10. Top 5. He's probably top 10. He's probably not top 5, though. But then last year, he posted his best numbers in his career. He went 268, 27 home runs, 80 RBIs. He's always been a home run threat. He's just got to keep that average up. Now, 268 is not great, but it's better than like 240, 250, obviously. So he's 5th strictly because I think last year wasn't a fluke. I don't think last year was a fluke at all. I think he kind of figured some things out. He's going to be a 20 home run guy. He has to. He literally has to keep that average over 260 for it to be worth a play in the top 5. I think he can. He's not going to be a 300 hitter. I don't think he ever will be. But it'll be 265. If he can limit the strikeouts, he strikes out a lot. He could touch 270, 275. Put the ball in play a little bit more. My other question, or my big question for him, is how is he going to fare with some of the big names from KC leaving? Moustakas, Hosmer, Kane, those guys, they all left. How is he going to do? A, under the pressure. B, those guys aren't going to be on base. He Is his RBI total going to fall? I'm not 100% sure, but I think it's worth taking a look. Obviously, the top 3 guys are, in my opinion, head and shoulders above 4 and 5. 4, 5, 6, and 7 are probably really close. I would put, I would probably put Yachty in one of those spots, so he would be just outside. And then catching, it's really tough to be a top producing hitter, play 140 plus games, something like that. So catching's always a tough position to draft. I think if you get one of these guys top 5, it's not a bad way to go, especially if you're able to pull Gary Sanchez or Posey, because I think those guys are going to have big years. On to what to watch. I mean, it's really simple. Football's over, so it's college basketball season now. I mean, it's college basketball season, and we're going to see that this week. We're going to see number 9 Duke at number 21 UNC. Huge rivalry, huge game. The most exciting game I'm waiting for this week is number 3 Purdue at number 4 Michigan State. Hot take, I think Purdue might be the best team in the country. I understand what Villanova's doing. I understand what Virginia's doing. I think Purdue might be, just because of their size. I think they have I think they're both 7 foot that are just incredible. And a lot of teams are going to have trouble with them because they're extremely talented and they're so big. So number 3 Purdue at number 4 Michigan State is going to be really good. Always a good game. Number 12 Gonzaga at number 11 St. Mary's. If you find yourself up late, they play at 10 o'clock. I can't remember what day that is though. And then number 17 Oklahoma at number 7 Texas Tech. Texas Tech is a really good team. It's always a good idea to watch Trae Young play, though. He's probably going to score 30 and put up 30 shots. So he's the college basketball version of Kobe. So it's going to be a fun game to watch. Other than that, obviously, how could I forget the Winter Olympics in South Korea? It's always good to root for your country. It's always good to see those athletes compete at the highest level. So that's going to be something I'm going to be tuning into for the next couple weeks, honestly. But other than that, guys, I hope you enjoy your week. Hope you enjoyed the Super Bowl. Eagles fans, I know you did. Patriots fans, it's all right. Until next time, guys, take care.